Hey everybody, it's Andy. This is the Alpha 19er Evade 1.5, one of my favorite backpacks that I've used for everyday carry, traveling to my card game, and basically everything that you could use a backpack for. This is the new version of the Alpha 19er Evade 1.5 that Alpha 19er has released just this year. I've been using this recently, and I've decided that it was time to do a review comparing the old version of the bag with the new. Also, I have here the Alpha 19er Evade 1.0X, which was their special fancy edition of the Evade 1.5 in a smaller size with some fancier materials, and I figured I would also compare these over just so you can all get the full picture. If you like videos like this and want to see more, please smash the like button on YouTube, leave a comment below with which of these you prefer, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Without further ado, let's take a look at these two bags. All right, so just to start, why have a new version of the Evade 1.5? Well, there have been a number of structural differences to the bag that Alpha 19er has introduced in between the two versions, and some of these they've taken over the years as they've increased them from other bags. Also, Alpha 19er, in making the new Evade, has addressed the number one complaint that people have with the original, and that's the weight of the bag. The original Evade 1.5 weighs 4 pounds with the lightest ripstop nylon material I have here, up to 4.4 pounds with some of the Cordura or heavier duty materials, while the new version comes in at 3.3 to 3.5 pounds, depending on the material, with this here being the 500D Cordura as the lightest. Let's take a look at some of the differences we have on the outside of the bag. First, we see that the old version of the Evade 1.5 has the quick access pocket here. This is basically identical in the new version. This is just a felt line pocket that has ability to store all sorts of random items. I have chapstick, I have some of my pills, I even have a hotel lotion that I've used. My hands have been getting really dry here lately. There's then the front Velcro patch. The old version of the Evade 1.5 has this large size patch field, which is bigger than the normal 2.3. I think this is like a 2.2 by 3.5 or 2.5 by 3.5 or 4 inches over there. While as the new version doesn't actually have its own patch field, but there is a space dedicated to attach a magnetopatch. And I'll show you what that looks like when I open this pocket. Finally, over here, there's no real pocket on the bottom, but the new Evade 1.5 has this zip pocket, which stores some flatter things. I have here a little first aid kit and also some masks that I keep here. And that just seems like a pretty nifty use of space. The way that I look at this bag is there's the top pocket, which uses the upper space, this main organization section, which uses the middle space, and over here, I can stuff stuff at the bottom of the organizational section, but over here, I have this additional pocket that I can use as the third space, and I personally like that a lot. Looking at the sides of the bag, the old Evade 1.5 has this nice stretchy water bottle pocket that can fit, big bottles pretty easily, but it doesn't lay as flat, and when you push it in, it crinkles out a little bit. I actually think this is one of my favorite water bottle pockets out of all of the bags I have. However, the new version of the Evade 1.5 has this lay flat design where the material kind of tucks in and goes flat. There's a little elastic here, and this fits still pretty decent bottles. This is a 25-ounce Camelback chute insulated, and this fits easily. I've been able to fit slightly larger bottles, but I don't think you're going to be able to fit one of those super fat Nalgene's. Going over to the back of the bag, these actually have a very similar harness system. You've got the padding here, the luggage pass-through strap, and the back panel straps with the load lifters up top. The one main difference, I would say, is that these straps have a sort of seam along the edges, and they're not as thick as these, which have more of an edgeless design and are a little bit thicker. In general, I found that both of these are very comfortable bags, and I don't think there's a big difference over there. One big difference, however, is that the old version of the Evade 1.5 has this concealed carry or CCW or whatever it is pocket, which has a Velcro lining and goes all the way through to the other side of the bag. In order to cut down on weight, the new version doesn't have this pocket at all. In fact, most of the things on the new version of the bag that the old version doesn't have been cut to reduce the weight. If I look at the top of the bag, the handles are also pretty different. The old version has this nice kind of thin but kind of padded on the inside handle, which fits me pretty well. And the new version has this, it's like two pieces of webbing folded over. There's no foam in this. It's kind of stiff, and you see it keeps this U shape pretty well. This is actually, it's easy to fit your hand in, but it's not very comfortable. Just kind of, it's like sharp on the edge here. So not necessarily my favorite. But still, it's a pretty good handle that lifts the bag easily. The old version of the bag has two sets of compression straps, one at the top and one at the bottom over the water bottle pocket, while the new version has just the one. And these are actually, they come not attached, and you can attach them yourself if you don't want them dangling around. And finally, on the outside, the old version of the bag has a number 8 size zipper for the main compartment, and the new version of the bag has this number 10 size zipper. The laptop pockets still have both number 8 size though. So that's the basics of the outside of these bags. Taking a look in the front panel pocket, we'll look right here. The old version of the bag has this interior pocket with a zip. I just have a bunch of masks, so I'm using these as examples. You can fit that in the mesh over here. It's a pretty big pocket. I also would sometimes put a rechargeable power bank in here. You have here the inside of that quick access pocket using that top edge of the bag. Behind this is a little zipper, which has a pocket that goes basically down to here, behind all of this organization panel. There are two little O-rings or D-rings on either side, and they include a little clip, and this is going to be your key leash on the old version. And this is a big loop field with this organizational panel attached, and the bag comes with this org panel that has spots for pens, the phone, business cards, slip pockets, and its own little zipper area here. On the new version of the bag, it's a bit different. And I have this packed out. I just came from work, so this is what I take to work with me. First, I'm going to look at the inside of this flap. There's a little, it's a Velcro access thin pocket where you can fit the other end of the Magneta patch. It's actually really hard to take the other end of this in and out. And the main reason is because with the Magneta patch, you have a loop on both sides, and the non-loop side is what sticks together. And so there's also hooks on this top edge here. So the Magneta patch actually gets stuck on the thing to close it. So I had to stick like a piece of paper, a business card in to get it to slide in. And I'm not going to bother to take that out right here. But still, having this right here allows you to have the nice clean look of the bag if you don't want a patch, or you can stick on your Magneta patch, and I have just one of my patches right here. Looking inside the bag, you have the same style of a front pocket right here. This goes all the way down. Instead of the two little D-rings over here, the bag has one D-ring here, or not a D-ring, but a key loop, and it's a plastic one. Some people say this isn't their favorite, but it's actually removable. This is a little Velcro loop over, so if you have a metal piece or something, you can stick that on, but I just think this is okay to leave here. And finally, the bag has another loop field here, just like the other bag. It doesn't actually come with the organizational panel. I decided to get one of these sliders that they sell separately, and the slider fits in pretty well, though it is a little bit tight at first, and it doesn't like to stay flat. But there are also two slip pockets here built in right over there. Also, there's a D-ring up here, and the other bag, the old version, does not have the D-ring, and this is something you can use to hook on some of their Matryoshka pouches or something else to the top over here. Let's take a look now into the laptop compartments of the two bags. On the old version of the bag, we have this number 8 size zipper, and we have this sort of compound pocket. You have a padded laptop area right here that has like a padded thing at the bottom to make sure that your laptop doesn't bang the floor. It's not exactly suspended off the ground, but that padding there keeps the laptop safe. And then you have these two thinner material pockets. This is like a 200D ripstop nylon that you can put in a tablet or papers or anything else really that you want to keep flat. The new version of the bag, the laptop pocket is just a singular pocket. There's no organization here. However, it does go all the way down to the point where it doesn't hit the ground exactly. It's suspended off a little bit. So instead of having that extra padding at the bottom, it is suspended, and you get the nice Alpha 19er logo right there. There's Velcro up here that actually you can undo this and then get access between the laptop compartment and the main compartment. But I don't really see a reason why you would do that because it's kind of difficult to open and there's no like easy access here when you can just unzip it over there. All right, now let's take a look inside the main compartment. Opening up the old version, we have what I considered the gold standard of an interior backpack pocket like this. It's a full clamshell, it opens all the way down. You've got on the inside of the lid 2 mesh zipper pockets where you can put lots of stuff. They have some volume to them. It's very nice. You have these D-rings for their Matryoshka pouches on this end, and 3 of them up at the top here, so lots of options there. And then you have this amazing, it's a PALS field, but it also is all loop for Velcro or hook and loop attachments. And while I personally didn't put a lot of stuff here attaching to it, knowing that I had this option was something that I thought made this bag so cool. If I had any pouch, I could just stick it in or loop it through with Mally, and it was just going to be able to fit in here for perfect organization. More often than not, I just sort of use it as a clamshell backpack, but I really thought this was a neat feature. And that's the inside of this bag. Looking into the new version, we have something similar, but there are some key differences. It's still a full clamshell. The top pouch here isn't the see-through mesh, but it's more of a solid of the ripstop nylon. I have here, this is a Anchor power battery bank thing, and I just keep that up there for easy access. And down here you have a similar mesh one. The bucket size over here, I have, what do I have here? I have a rain jacket, I have a puffy jacket, I have my Tom Bin side effect, which is my modular wallet purse. I have a Evergoods Cap 1 with my tech stuff, and then I have a warmth hat, a Western Rise baseball hat, and this little thing of hard candy that I had lying around. And those all fit in here fairly easily. There's no problem filling the bag up. These bags are both 25-liter bags, and it feels like I have a lot of space in here. Now, the back panel, you'll notice, is drastically different. There's this PALS webbing, just a single row up top, not the whole PALS and loop field all the way down. And the main reason is because that cuts down on weight. It's a very heavy thing. You could buy an accessory to add that to some of their other bags, and it added, many ounces to the weight of the bag. So not having that in keeps the bag light. There is, to help compensate, still some of these little tabs where you could add a similar feature if you had that attachment or something else. And there's this lightly padded tablet sleeve, so you can put your papers or your tablet in here. The other thing I think is kind of interesting is the laptop pocket actually is like elastic over here. So if you put a really big laptop, it can maybe eat into the main compartment a little bit, but if you don't have a laptop, that gives you just a little bit more space in the main compartment. One last thing I forgot to compare early on is actually the bottoms of the bags. On the original Evade 1.5, there were these 2 clips where you could attach like a roll or an umbrella or something, and there were these attachment points here, just like 1, 2, 3, 4 that these went through. The newer versions of the bags don't have this at all. Instead, they both have this heavier duty, I think it's a 1000D or a 1050D ballistic nylon. So this keeps the bottom, it has more abrasion resistance, but it doesn't have that attachability like you had on the original Evade 1.5. If you want to see me try on the old version of the bag, I have another review that I filmed of it. You can see the link above. For the new version of the bag, I find this pretty comfortable. I'm 5'9" and about 145 pounds, and it fits me very nice. I like the shoulder straps, they're pretty adjustable, and the padding hasn't been one of the more sweaty of the back paddings, so that air channel in the mesh has worked well for me. Now, let's compare the new version of the Alpha 19er Evade 1.5 with the Alpha 19er Evade 1.0X. So, the main differences between these 2 bags are either material choice, aesthetics, and size. Whereas this is a 25-liter bag, this here is just a 20-liter bag, and you can see it's a little bit smaller, It's not as wide. The water bottle pockets are a little bit smaller. I can still fit in this 25-ounce Camelback chute, but this is the maximum that I can fit here, whereas I can put a bigger water bottle in here. The zipper pulls are a little bit nicer. They have these nice leather pulls that are attached as opposed to these other ones. These ones are actually easier to grip on the Evade 1.5, but these ones have more of a premium feel. And the zippers themselves are made with the water-resistant coating that you can see on the outside, whereas the normal one just has a reverse of the ratchet coil zippers. The handles on top have a different material for the handle. This is more of a seatbelt style nylon, where this feels like a traditional webbing. And there's this leather pull handle grabber around here that makes it just a bit more comfortable. It's still pretty stiff and it doesn't have much give, but this is easier to grab than this one for sure. Looking at the front of the bag, this one does not have a magnetopatch attachment. What it does have, though, is down in the corner, this very tasteful, smaller Alpha 19er patch and this little tiny loop field where you can stick maybe a reflective patch. I stuck an Evergoods reflective patch here when I took it on a trip, and I think that's fine. If I look on the inside here, the insert material is this nice, I think it's a chili or a cayenne ripstop nylon. I think this is a pretty cool pattern, and it also has a similar style with the D-ring, with the key attachment. This one is not Velcro, so it's not as easy to remove. And I was able to stick in the Velcro attach version of the organization panel instead of the slider like I have here, but you can use either. The bags don't come with either. Looking into the main compartment here, you've got a similar thing. It's mainly just the size that's different between this bag and the other one. And I'm just going to take those same items that I had in here, put them in here so you can see how it fits. So I've got my jackets, which are mainly just volume here. I've got my hats. I probably don't need to carry this around, but it was snowing the other day. Tech pouch, side effect, and all of these fit. The bag zips up just fine. But this is, I would say this is comfortably full. I could fit a little bit more, but over in this bag, I could probably fit something else. In fact, here I have a Peak Design medium-sized packing cube, and I'm going to put that in here and then try to put all of these items back and see how that goes. All right, so let's see. I'll stick the tech pouch, the side effect, those fit quite nicely. My jacket I can just lay at the bottom. My other jacket I can put on top, and then the hats just stick there. And as you can see, it all fits. It doesn't zip very difficultly. It's pretty easy. And the bag here, I would say, is also comfortably full. You can see there's definitely room at the top. The top is giving, and it fits just fine, all of these items. Finally, just so you can see how this fits on my back, this bag does not have the load lifters on its harness. It has a simpler one, and this is actually very similar to what the Whitley uses. And here I just have there's a fidlock buckle. And so these are pretty nice, but sometimes it comes clipped like this, and you don't really want it clipped, and you try to put the bag on and you have to unclip it, whereas the old version uses just a normal clip there. So putting on this bag, it's a bit smaller, and you can see it's smaller on me. But overall, I would say this one is very comfortable. Despite not having the load lifters, I feel like I haven't had any trouble with this. And the one last thing that I forgot to mention earlier is while this comes in a variety of materials, we have twill, we have this 500D Cordura. The Evade 1.0X is just this X-Pack VX50. And you can see mine looks a little bit dirty. I've taken all of these bags on trips before. But I think there's something cool about the X-Pack. There's a bit of a premium feel to it. But overall, this has like a 500D material on the outside. This is a 500D material here. And overall, they're both very nice bags. All right, so hopefully that gives you a sense on how the new Alpha 19er Evade 1.5 compares to the old version of the Evade 1.5 and the Evade 1.0X. This wasn't necessarily the most streamlined review or comparison, but overall, I just think that these are all such fantastic bags. This was my favorite bag for such a long time. I'm really loving using this from day to day. And if I want to go somewhere a little bit nicer, I have, and I will continue to take the 1.0X here. These are just all, the utility is so great. I love having the front panel. I love the spacious interior. The laptop pockets all work, and the water bottle pockets on the side. Like, this is basically everything I want in an EDC bag. Cutting down on the weight for the new version of the Evade 1.5 has reduced some of those cool features, but I haven't really found myself noticing that I've missed any of them. Being able to carry the bag with it being a bit lighter, not giving me as much of a strain on my shoulder, has been just fine. And if I really decide I want to pack it up with something heavy, they still have the same ability to attach a padded hip belt over at the bottom, though I found that not once have I thought about adding that on the new version of the bag. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you like content like this and want to see more, please smash the like button on YouTube, leave a comment below with which version of the bag you like the best, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really helps me out. Thank you all so much again, and have a good day.